That is one beautiful, beautiful woman. Now, the news is people were asking him if he's jealous and all that about her having some kind of little date or something with Ryan Seacrest. Newsflash. I highly doubt she's going to go with a American Idol iHeartRadio boy over Julian Edelman, who's a football player doing his thing with the Patriots. But I got to give it up to Julian. He's living the life. New England Patriot by day, boyfriend of one of the most beautiful supermodels at night. Now, one thing I have to get to is Magic Johnson in the news. Magic's deciding that he's going to play Dr. Ruth and be a marriage therapist all of a sudden to Brad and Angelina. Supposedly Brad and Angelina are calling it quits, but Magic's turning to Mr. Positive and telling them that, hey, they can work things out. All of a sudden he's turned into some marriage therapist, and he said he's got some advice for Brad and Angelina. Magic's saying that he's rooting for them and their kids. He hopes they work it out. Hopes things go well. There's not a nasty split. And, hey, Magic, I applaud the positive, but I think I'd stay away from making comments about celebrity marriages. I think you're more suited to doing basketball analyst. Coming out, I guess he's trying to, broaden his horizons or get away from his basketball. But I think that's what he needs to stick to doing, instead of worrying about other people's marriages and stuff of that nature. But, hey, look, you know what? In a sense, I guess it is kind of positive. He's rooting for somebody else's kids and their marriage. So, it's a good thing. I just think he needs to stay away from it. Another story, I'm sure all of you know and getting sick of, like me, is Colin Kaepernick. I've heard that guy's name so many times, it makes me just want to throw up. And now, supposedly, he's getting death threats for protesting national anthem. Hey, Colin, didn't you expect this? You're going to ruffle not only some feathers, you're going to ruffle people around when you do stuff like this. Again, I've said time and time again, I understand what he's doing. But the fact that if you're surprised, you shouldn't be. When you protest the country's national anthem, you're going to get these type of things. Now, one thing he did say here is you're going to have some yo-yos out there that will give you death threats. And Kaepernick does make a good point. He makes some good points. It's just you can't expect this not to happen when you do something like this. As he does say, it doesn't surprise him. He doesn't want it to happen, but that's a realization of what could happen. I knew there were other things that came along with this when he stood up and spoke about it. He says he haven't thought about it. And he hasn't reported the threats to team officials or the police. Well, they kind of know now because you're coming out in the news and saying it, but I guess in a sense, he knows, and we all expected that. You're going to get these kind of yo-yos out there. But in all honesty, I'm just tired of hearing this guy's name. He's not relevant in the NFL. He's just it's like he uses this thing. I'm thinking he uses this so he can get in the news. That's just my opinion. He's right about it, but I just think he's trying to get in the news because it's almost like a daily thing. So I think he needs to give it a rest. I really, really do. In other news, how about old Meta World Peace getting in the news again? This guy's crazy. This guy is crazy. Now he's saying he's being terrorized by a deranged woman who slashed his tires, stalked his kids, made these violent threats. Meta, what did you do to this woman, brother? What did you do? This woman, okay, goes and threatens to attack his car, accusing him of raping women, threatening him with a knife. I mean, if you look in these court documents, Meta's saying she made good on some of her threats, throwing a brick through a window in his building, slashing his tires. She physically attacked. He's also saying she physically attacked his 19-year-old daughter and was waiting outside for his 13-year-old daughter after school. What kind of women are you seeing, Meta? I mean, are you rolling up to the nut house and grabbing them out of the nut house and dating them? This is crazy. This woman has obviously got not just one screw loose, a bunch of screw looses. Or a bunch of screws loose, excuse me. Get somebody normal. But this is great. This is great. The best part about this whole thing is that most of the time you have a restraining order, you file, and they say, okay, you must stay 200 feet away from whoever. I mean, Meta World Peace. This is just great. If you've ever seen it, like a court order about a state, a restraining order, you have these boxes to check. This boy checks me. The other person is listed in wherever. My home, my job, my school, my children's place of child care. This is the best part, though. When you're filling it out, it says, I asked the court to order the person in to stay at least, then you put an amount, yards away from wherever, okay? And then you check the boxes. Meta puts, I asked the court to order a person to stay at least 1 million yards away. He writes in 1 million. This girl must be off the charts crazy. 1 million yards. But the best is when he checks other and he puts earth. I mean, this girl must be insanely crazy. 1 million yards away from everything, including this earth. Oh my goodness gracious alive. Some of the things you hear from these athletes, I could not sit and think of these things. Couldn't do it. And one more thing before we get to the Auburn. Do you guys remember last week when I was speaking of Derrick Rose and the woman that didn't give her identity, saying that he raped her? She filed the thing under James Doe, and she goes back and says that she filed a lawsuit before filing the police report with the accusing Derrick Rose of rape. Well, now the judge, which I applaud on this, has to reveal her identity when the case moves forward. Needs to know who this woman is. She can't go as Jane Doe. She's trying to stay anonymous, protect her privacy. My opinion is this never happened, and she's trying to protect her privacy and not put her name out there because she doesn't want other athletes to know who she is. She seems like one of these women that just look to go to athletes and extort them for stuff. Now, Rose filed some court documents saying, I love it, saying Doe has abused her privilege by going on a nationwide pretrial media blitz over the past week, which includes phone interviews and a news conference. I mean, this girl is making it's like she's making a name for herself, but using some false report or false actions or whatever didn't happen to gain her notoriety. But then, of course, she doesn't want to include her name, naturally, because she's probably going to do this again. This story's crazy. And, you know, you got to protect yourselves nowadays when you're an athlete. Whatever happened or whatever went down between Rose and this Jane Doe, it's pretty bad. So we're going to move on from these stories. And just kind of little fun tidbits, what's going on in the sporting world, and kind of give my take on a few things. But let's get down to business and discuss what you guys want to hear, which is some LSU Auburn Tigers college football preview, guys. ESPN 6:00 pregame, 5 Central. LSU and Auburn again tangling in Jordan Hare for a classic SEC battle. Now, first talking about this game is I want to get to discussing the dynamics coming into this game. Why is this just not like any other game? What's going on here? Why is this game special, you say? Well, right now, as it stands, both these teams have not played their best brand of football. Auburn comes in at 1-2 with their only victory against an Arkansas State team that does have some capable players, but let's be honest, don't have the talent of Auburn or the SEC. So they crushed Arkansas State. LSU beat Jacksonville State. So both these teams have 2 signature wins in terms of just getting it done. But it's against weaker opponents. Now LSU, they do have an SEC win under the belt against Mississippi State. But look, guys, Mississippi State's going to finish 6th in the West. That's no victory. It's really not. That's something that it's expected you to do. There's a reason why LSU was 13-point favorites. They were expected to win this game by at least 2 touchdowns. And they had done after 3 quarters. They're up 17. The one thing that jumps out to me about what the experts think and what more than likely is going to happen in this game is, LSU comes in as a 3-point favorite. Typically, the odds makers are going to give the home team a 3-point advantage. So technically, they're saying, all right, LSU is about a touchdown better than Auburn. If you line this up on paper, guys, it looks as if LSU has a complete clear advantage in all areas. Defense, offense, special teams. The one thing I think looking to this game, it's a fact that, yes, this is a statistic that goes way back in this rivalry, that some of these games have absolutely no effect on the outcome. Because there's players. There's players that are playing now that didn't play way back when. But for some reason, even though these players didn't play way back when, it's like certain teams just play certain ways in certain venues in rivalries. That's the case with these two teams. They're always great games. There's some blowouts here and there. Last year was a blowout. The year before that was a blowout.